Hi there, I'm Ryan, a technician at 4x4 AT here in Leeming Bar. We're going to install an SCZ as well as the support J brackets, which are recommended by Ford and VW. So these are the tools that you're going to need. T30, a T40, a 10mm, a 13mm, a Phillips head PH2, half-inch ratchet, half-inch extensions, and a 3/8 extension heat gun or blowtorch, 20mm hole saw, some tie wraps, a deburrer, a torch, and a 3/8 gun, a drill, and a impact driver as well. So in our J braces box, the parts that we're going to get is a left and a right bracket, internal left and a right bracket, your bolts, and your fitting instructions. I'm going to set these aside because we need to pull out the liner and take off the wild trap bar before we do any of this. So I'll pop these aside and then we'll start by taking the wild trap bar off. That's the first thing we want to do. We're going to start by removing the wild trap bar. So we'll take these two panels off. There's one here and the other one is located here. We're going to use our trim tool. We push the panel there, we can get the trim tool in and lever it up and then pull it down. Once we've got these two panels off on both sides, there's two 10s which go downwards. They both need to be removed, so there's two on the inside on this side and there's two on the inside on that side. Once you've got your two bolts, these two bolts that are down the bottom that go downwards, we can pop that panel back on. Just hooks over, clip back into place. Same again, panel back on. So we have our three T40s, 1, 2, 3. You'd be better using a heat gun to try and warm them up. You can try crack them off by hand first, but they've got a lot of Loctite on, so using a blowtorch does heat that Loctite up and they come out far easier. So I'll try and crack it off by hand first and then use the gun to take the rest of it out. Gun for the rest of it. Same on the opposite side. Our bolts out, which so you're going to have two which hold it down here, and then there's three here. We've removed them, so this should simply lift off now. We've got our top bar off. Now we're going to do the side bars. So on this panel we have three 13mm bolts. We've got one here and the two are located underneath this black foot here, which are on the underside of there. There is a lot of plastic clips underneath here, but if you use the long nose pliers or your hands, you can get the ones on this side of the bed. Unfortunately, the ones on the internal bit of the bed, you can't access them. So you simply just have to pull the panel up. We have our wild trap bar now off. We're going to move on to the load bed liner. Again, these have got a lot of Loctite on, so I would advise using a heat gun to warm the bolts up if they're not going to come out. Tend to crack them off by hand first and then use a gun to get them the rest of the way. But I'll start with the electrical, the load bed lights if they're fitted, and then the electrical panel which has the 12 volt socket on. So these bolts that we're taking out, we do need to keep safe because they are going to be going back in. And then I'm just going to put a tie wrap through this hole and round that back of that wire, so we don't lose that down there. We're going to take the tie down points out now, which are the T40s. We'll gather all our bolts up now and pop them to one side, and then we can take this low bed liner out. We've got the anchor points out and our load bed lights and our electrical connection there. The last thing we've got to do is just remove some trim clips which are located around the bed liner. There's 3 down this side, and then there's some along the front, and then the last 3 are there. Just want to get a trim tool in between them and just pop them out like so. We'll lift out the low bed now, so I'm just going to use a trim tool under the back just to break the tape which has been put on by Ford. We're going to start the J brackets now. So we've got our internal parts. We're just going to open our bag, and out of this we want the 13mm bolts. Should be 2 for each side. And our bracket, which is going to sit on the vehicle like that. It's going to pick up on our original anchor points, and this gives us our drilling point that we need to put our big bolt through our actual J bracket. So our bracket, get 2 of the 13mm bolts. These are only temporary bolts, so we're going to use the original anchor points. So we're using our bottom 2 holes. We've got this bracket on here, which gives us our drilling location. This is the same on the opposite side of the bed. So I'm just going to use a marker pen here just to mark my hole. Same on the opposite side. Now there's a breather pipe on the opposite side of this plate that we need to remove out the way, so when we go through with our drill we don't stab it. So we're going to go to the underside of the car now and unplug that breather. The breather pipe which I'm referring to is on the passenger side and is located under here. So I'm just going to go underneath the car and unplug that. You can see our breather here, and it does have a plastic trim bit which holds it to the body of the vehicle. We're just going to use our long trim tool here just to pry it away from that, because we need our J bracket to slide up behind it. So if you get your trim tool in and then just pull it off the side like so, and our breather tube now moves freely out the way. Also going to remove a 10mm bolt here. This so with our arch liner trim pushed back after we've removed our 10mm lower bolt, you can now see our 10 here and our 15 up here. The L bracket that we're going to put in here is going to pick up off these two bolts, and then the back edge of it is going to slide up behind that breather, which is another reason we wanted it disconnected from there. So we're going to move back up to the top of the car now and drill our holes, but we're free and we're not going to drill into anything. We're ready now to remove both our brackets because we've got our drill positions. So now I'm just going to use a pilot drill bit, which is a 3mm. Swap over to my hole saw, which is 20mm. So I'm just going to use my deburrer just to tidy up the hole. We've deburred our holes, now we need to get rid of all the swarf left in the truck. That's just going to go rusty. So I'm going to use a air blower just to blow all that swarf out, and then I'm going to put a bit of paint on just to stop it from going rusty as well. Car's all clean of swarf and we're all deburred, so we're just going to put some paint on just to stop them holes going rusty. I'm going to use some 2-pack paint here. Doesn't matter what colour it is, just as long as that hole is has got sufficient paint around it to stop it from going rusty. With our paint now on, we can put our brackets back on. We're just going to put these bolts in, but again, these bolts are going to be coming out later on. Once we've got these in, we'll move out underneath the car and put our J bracket on the actual bed. We've got our brackets here, a left and a right passenger and a driver's side. It does have right hand written on it and also left hand written on it. These all install from on the underside of the vehicle. So we have a 15mm bolt which goes up into the tub and a 10mm as well. So we're going to remove both of them, slide that up, and then put our 15mm bolt up there and our 10mm up through there. So again, this is right hand side, driver's side, left hand side, passenger side. So we'll move around to the driver's side now and install that. So take that 10 out there, push this back, and that will now give us access to our 10 and our 15, which are both up here. Slide our bracket up, get our 15 started, and then our 10. So just before I tighten them, you can see that the pointy bit of the bracket sticks in the up position, and where we've drilled that hole, the bolt is going to pass through the inside of the tub to the outside and pick up on this bracket. So I'll tighten our 10 and our 15 up. Ready to move up onto the other side of the vehicle, do the same, and then we'll go inside the tub and put our 17mm bolts through. So our bracket here that has left hand side written on it, we're going to slide that in the up position. We just need to make sure that the breather stays on this side of the bracket and is not crushed between the bracket and the bed. So I'm just going to disconnect this breather pipe here, which is pushing that white clip in there from above, and then the pipe will come apart. This will give me a bit of extra room. Slide the bracket up and then I'll reconnect it after. So we can see now I've got a gap, a good gap there to slide my J bracket up. Now we'll connect our breather back. It's on the outside of the pipe, so we'll just slide our liner back in. We're ready now to put these 17mm bolts in the car. We just need to remove that collar, slide our spring washer on and our flat washer, and then our collar. These are going to go through that big hole that we've drilled. We've got one to go on that side and one to go in the opposite side. So we're ready to take the 13mm bolts out, these top two, and refit the low bed liner. So we're just going to refit all the anchor points back on.